Alright, so either times is getting really hard for Beyonce here, or this photo just proved that they are really cloning celebrities.
Why they giving me this light? I'm so going.
What type of foresight years ago to know what Brooklyn could become? He played an important role in the Renaissance.
So now people are really talking, because the rumors about Beyonce being a clone are blowing up again. And this time it's tied to claims Kanye West supposedly exposed some shocking details behind it all. The story sounds wild, but it's grabbing attention because of how intense these claims are, and people can't stop debating what's real and what's just talk. For years, there's been chatter online saying Beyonce was being controlled by Jay-Z, and even though that sounded far-fetched before, some are now pointing to so-called receipts as proof there might be something deeper going on. The theory goes even bigger, claiming powerful industry figures are involved, watching her every move because she's seen as a major moneymaker in the business. Things get even more controversial when people bring up an old claim from 2016, where an industry insider said Beyonce was replaced with a clone sometime in the early 2000s. According to that story, the version fans see today is described as a manufactured clone, which only added more fuel to these rumors spreading online. The person behind those
control it. You get what I'm saying? They could control Shaq. They could control Charles Barkley. They could control LeBron James. They could control Jay-Z and Beyonce.
No, you, man.
But they can't control me.
Claims Stephen J. went public during a long Facebook rant, sharing what he said he witnessed while working in Hollywood. He even posted side-by-side photos comparing early 2000s Beyonce to how she looks now, writing, "The chick on the left is her, but the chick on the right is not this high-degree masonry witch. On the right is a clone," and claimed that record label executives took her stem cells early in her career. So the story takes an even darker turn, because some people claim that when Beyonce started stepping out on her own, that's when everything changed. The rumor says she was unlived and replaced with a clone so the powerful brand behind her could keep making money without ever slowing down. And when it comes to how this cloning would even work, clips like one of Cat Williams talking about it have been circulating, with fans saying it explains everything, even though none of it has been proven. But going back a bit, there were already whispers long before any clone talk, with people saying Beyonce was being controlled by Jay-Z from early on. Those rumors really picked up when stories started spreading online, claiming their relationship began when she was still very young and he was much older, which raised a lot of eyebrows and questions from fans watching it all unfold.
They tried to medicate me. I was exhausted. They wrongly diagnosed me. And when I asked them, how much lithium did you want to put me on exactly? It took them 4 days to answer because they were embarrassed about the amount, right? And I refused to take this, right? You understand that if I had taken the medication, I would not be here, and it would have been, he was deeply troubled. We miss him. We love his music, though.
Well, they would have Britney Spears you. I mean, look at
they
what
would have Michael Jackson,
or worse, yeah. So look at what they did. Look at what they did to Britney. When she went in, she was tired, she was exhausted, she was in a bad way. But 10 years of that medication wrecked her brain. You can see it now. Yeah. You can see there's not much of her.
Some even say her family didn't fully know how serious things were at first, and by the time it all became public, Beyonce was already deeply in love with him, making the situation even more complicated. Growing up, she was so focused on her career that she didn't really have a typical social life. So people often point out that Jay-Z was one of her first serious relationships, aside from a rumored high school boyfriend. Then there's another layer to the story, where a man referred to as her former bodyguard, Uncle Ron, allegedly made claims about Jay-Z trying to control her through harmful means. But these statements remain unverified, and the situation around his passing only added more mystery that keeps people talking to this day. This is where the rumors get even more intense, because a deleted interview from the blog Media Takeout started making rounds online, and it had people seriously shocked. In that interview, someone described as Beyonce's former assistant made claims that Jay-Z was physically mistreating her as a way to stay in control. But none of these accusations have ever been confirmed. And remember that whole cash cow narrative people keep bringing up? Well, this same assistant didn't hold back and added even more to the story. They claimed there were multiple moments where things crossed the line, saying, "Now, I've never seen him just flat out strike B, but too many times have I seen him shove and push her." At first, they thought it might be playful behavior, but that view quickly changed. The assistant went on to describe a moment in Saint-Tropez that stood out, saying Beyonce looked visibly uncomfortable. And that's when it hit them that the situation didn't feel right at all. According to their words, he treated her more like an object than a person, which only made the claim sound even more serious. They didn't stop there either, saying Beyonce was growing tired of being controlled. overwhelmed by constant pressure, and surrounded by people making decisions for her. The claim continues that those around her feared she might walk away at any moment because she was starting to question everything, including her finances, even pushing for an audit. The story paints a picture of someone who is completely drained mentally, physically, and emotionally. But it's important to remember, these are still allegations that have not been verified. The story keeps building, with claims that after decades in the spotlight, Beyonce is simply worn out and wants a break from it all. According to these rumors, she just wants to rest, enjoy life, and finally make her own choices. But the people around her allegedly won't allow that to happen, which only adds more tension to the situation. There are also claims floating around that her finances don't fully make sense, with talk suggesting she's spending more than she earns, leaving her feeling stuck in a cycle she can't escape. And just when it seems like the story couldn't get any deeper, Kanye West's name gets pulled right into the middle of it, with people saying he believes Beyonce may have actually been cloned. Kanye has been outspoken for years about his belief that celebrities are controlled by powerful figures behind the scenes, almost like they're being treated as robots. And interestingly, Beyonce was one of the names he mentioned when speaking on this topic, which only made these rumors spread even faster online. What really caught attention is that this isn't new behavior from him. As far back as 2015, he was already hinting at ideas about celebrities being controlled or even replaced, especially when responding to people throwing around the term Illuminati. According to Kanye's perspective, celebrities aren't the ones in power at all. They're just being used by higher-ups to push certain messages. He suggests that once control starts slipping, that's when drastic steps are taken to maintain influence, which is why some people connect his comments to these cloning rumors. The narrative keeps pushing this idea that celebrities aren't really in control of anything, but instead are just the public faces for people working behind the scenes. Kanye even spoke out about this directly, saying, "Celebrities who gave their life to music are pinpointed as decoys for people who really run the world. I'm tired of people pinpointing musicians as the Illuminati. That's ridiculous. We don't run anything. We're celebrities. We're the face of brands. We have to compromise what we say in lyrics so we don't lose money on a contract." That statement alone had people looking at the industry very differently. Some fans argue that Kanye's experience proves his point, saying when he started going against the system, things quickly turned against him. Now, to be clear, he faced major backlash for offensive comments he made, and that criticism was widely seen as justified. But according to him, the situation didn't stop there and went much deeper. Kanye has claimed that once he became harder to control, there were attempts to silence him completely, even alleging plans to have him placed in a facility and heavily medicated. He took things even further by sharing what he said was a disturbing message from someone he described as an industry handler, which only made the situation feel more intense and personal. In that message, the tone was extremely serious, laying out two options for him in a way that shocked a lot of people. It read, "I'm going to help you in one of a couple ways. First, you and I sit down and have a loving and open conversation, but you don't use curse words, and everything that is discussed is based on fact and not some crazy stuff that a dumb friend of yours told you or you saw in a tweet. Second option, I have you institutionalized again, where they medicate the crap out of you and you go back to zombie land forever." That message alone had people seriously shaken because it sounded less like support and more like a warning dressed up as help. And for many watching this unfold, it raised a bigger question. How much control do these so-called handlers really have behind the scenes? Kanye didn't stay quiet after that either. He doubled down on his claims, saying situations like this are exactly why so many celebrities act differently over time, almost like they're not the same person anymore. Fans quickly started connecting dots, bringing Beyonce's name back into the conversation and questioning if there was any link between his statements and the rumors surrounding her. Online discussions went into overdrive, with people pointing out changes in behavior, appearance, and even public interviews, trying to build their own theories about what's really going on. Some believe it's all just coincidence, while others are convinced there's something much bigger being hidden from the public. At the same time, critics are calling all of this speculation dangerous and misleading, arguing that there's no real proof behind these extreme claims. Still, the mix of Kanye's statements, old interviews resurfacing, and insider rumors has created a storm that refuses to die down, keeping everyone watching closely to see what comes out next. And just when it seems like the conversation might slow down, more clips and throwback moments keep resurfacing, adding even more mystery to the whole situation. People have been digging through old Beyonce interviews, pointing out moments where her voice, mannerisms, or energy seemed slightly different, and using that as proof that something isn't adding up. Some even highlight times where she spoke about feeling drained or disconnected, and they twist those moments to fit this bigger narrative about control and pressure. Others, though, argue that it's completely normal for someone who's been in the spotlight for so long to evolve, grow, and change over time, especially under constant public attention. There are also fans pushing back hard against these rumors, saying it's unfair to turn personal struggles or natural changes into wild conspiracy theories. They believe it takes away from her hard work and success, reducing everything to speculation instead of recognizing her talent and discipline. Still, the internet doesn't let these stories fade easily. Every new comment, every old clip, and every bold claim keeps getting recycled and reanalyzed, turning this into an ongoing cycle of debate that just keeps getting louder and more intense by the day. And just when it feels like things might finally calm down, the internet pulls everything right back up again with even more old clips and throwback moments flooding timelines. People have been going deep into Beyonce's past interviews, zooming in on tiny details like her voice, her expressions, even her energy, and claiming those differences are proof that something isn't right. Some take it even further by pointing at moments where she admitted feeling tired or disconnected, flipping those clips into something much bigger about control and pressure behind the scenes. But not everyone is buying into that, because others are quick to say this is what happens when someone grows up in the spotlight. People change, they evolve, and they carry the weight of fame in ways most can't even imagine. At the same time, a lot of fans are calling this out, saying these theories go way too far and cross the line. They argue it's unfair to turn real human moments into wild stories, especially when it ignores the years of work, discipline, and focus that built her career from the ground up. But the internet doesn't slow down for logic. Every clip gets reposted, every comment gets picked apart, and every rumor keeps getting pushed harder, turning this into a non-stop cycle where the noise just keeps getting louder and harder to ignore every single day. And now people are saying even simple things wouldn't feel the same anymore, like play dates with the kids just won't hit like before. And that just shows how deep these conversations have gone online. What's even more wild is that Beyonce isn't the only name being dragged into these kinds of rumors. Other celebrities like Jim Carrey, Gucci Mane, Dave Chappelle, and Jamie Foxx have all been mentioned in similar theories, with fans claiming they started acting differently or doing things they once said they'd never do. But when you really break it down, there's no solid proof that Beyonce has actually been cloned. Just a mix of internet theories, viral clips, and Kanye's statements that keep fueling the conversation. Still, that hasn't stopped people from going all in, with debates spreading everywhere and getting louder by the day. Some comments online are behead bold, with one person saying, "The real Beyonce has been gone for like 10 years. She's been erased and replaced." Another added, "Since Crazy in Love, I have not recognized her. I kept saying, 'Who is that?' Cause it ain't Bey." Those reactions alone show how divided people are on this topic. Now, I need to hear from you. Do you actually believe Kanye's claims about Beyonce, or do you think this is all just internet speculation getting out of control? And do you think there's any truth behind the idea of control over her career and money? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more wild stories like this.